That is serrated. That.
Yeah. You wouldn't want to get stabbed with that, would you?
Is that a machete?
Yeah, that's a machete. This is a nasty piece of work.
You don't get any easier at all. I know. And you have to try and be strong like every single day. It does kill you inside.
Wow. My God. Look at that. I feel properly disturbed by this.
I got convicted of GBH and possession of offensive weapon.
When you have it, you feel like invincible.
I'm Rosena Allin-Khan, doctor, mother and Member of Parliament for Tooting. I've been meeting people directly affected by Britain's continuing knife crime crisis. This is Tooting, South London. My constituency, my home. In June 2019, a local young man, 18-year-old Shayon Evans, was stabbed to death. I'm here at his memorial to grieve another young life lost and to try and understand how this kind of violence keeps on happening in Britain. Shayon's cousin spoke to me after the service.
My mum just called me and went, "Oh, have you heard the news?" And I was like, "What news?" And she just was silent, and I just knew then that something really bad had happened. And they opened the tent and you couldn't see him, but you could just see all the blood. And there was so much blood. My cousins were convinced that it wasn't blood. They were like, "Oh, that's too much blood, that can't be, it has to be his like a red jumper." And I'm trying to say to them like, no, like that's him. I expected that I was gonna lose someone in my family. I've lost so many, like we've lost friends and so many of my cousins have been stabbed and so on. That's what really broke my heart, that I realized then it was a shock, but also it was kind of like, well, how could I have expected better? I see this on the news every day. Why did I think I would be so blessed that this wouldn't happen to my family?
So how many people do you personally know of, in your wider circle, your family, your friends, who have been stabbed?
I couldn't count. It would take, I'd have to sit and think about it.
There's no way of knowing how many people are out on the streets with knives. But one man in Leytonstone is taking action in his community to try and disrupt the wave of deadly violence by taking the knives away from the streets. I'm in East London today to meet Courtney Barrett. He has set up Binning Knives Saves Lives, which is an incredible knife amnesty where people can come and drop off anything that they believe could be used as a deadly weapon. He's kindly agreed to show me some of the knives.
So these are all the knives we've got. In less than 34 hours. There's around 220, 230, something like that.
This is quite clearly, it just says cheese on it.
Yep.
I mean,
this one could do you a lot of damage, huh?
It really could.
This one looks really old.
It's old
It's
school.
actually got hallmarks on it.
But that is serrated. That.
Yeah. You wouldn't want to get stabbed with that, would you?
Is that a machete?
Yep, that's a machete. This is a nasty piece of work. No one in this country would have any need for this. This is what you cut through the jungle with. This one here wasn't actually dropped into our bin.
Look, it's got a velvet inside.
This one, I was called and asked to come and collect it because the lady couldn't make it to the bin. So I went and collected it just beforehand.
Wow. Wonder if this would have been on someone's wall.
Yeah, I think it's a decorative thing, but
yeah,
these are the kind of things we're trying to tell people. You don't need them in your house because these are the things people get in an argument and come and grab them. The kids might be scared because they've been picked on by a gang or whatever, you know, you don't know.
I think so often people think that larger knives do more damage, but that's not the case, is it?
Well, to be honest with you, my point of view is that the smaller the knife, the more prone the person who's doing the stabbing is to stab repeatedly. So smaller blades can be more dangerous really because they're used more.
I've heard that a large proportion of knives used are actually kitchen knives.
Yeah, around about 70% of knives used in knife crime are kitchen knives. People are clueless until we've told them the facts and figures and that. A lot of people just think knife crime's just to do with gangs and on estates and doesn't concern them. You know, but we've showed them it does concern you. It can happen to anyone, any place, any time, you know.
Anyone could be affected.
Yeah. And anyone could be carrying a knife, you don't know.
So with all those knives, what are you going to do with them?
Basically we're going to make a statue with them. We've got Black Horse Metalworks who have agreed to melt the knives down. And we're going to commission a youth group to make a statue with them.
Wow.
The statue will be dedicated to everyone that's been murdered by a knife in London in 2019. I've got a diagram here on my phone somewhere.
Oh my God.
Say there's 140 deaths this year.
Yeah.
It's 140 love hearts making one big love heart.
Yeah.
On a plinth with all the dates and names, etc.
Yeah. The majority of the weapons Courtney has collected are regular kitchen knives that you'd find in any home. But there is a darker world of knives out there. Knives that aren't meant for cooking, and they're incredibly easy to buy. Several kinds of knives are illegal to sell in the UK. Knives like butterfly knives, flick knives, even knives disguised as other objects. Though they're illegal to sell, how hard are they to actually get hold of? I decided to try and find out and went to a well-known online retailer, and with a few clicks of a button, I was able to get some from China. This one's got a transformer face on it. This knife is very clever. This is disguised as a bracelet for all you Transformer fans. It's got the face of a Transformer on it, and the blade is inside there. But look at that. You could put it on your wrist, clip it, well, flick it open very quickly and use it to do some serious damage. It looks like it's at least 1.5 inches long. A lot of thought has gone into the engineering. The fact that with one hand you can release the blade and hold it and repeatedly knife someone, it's frightening. Got to wrap them up well. Oh my gosh. Look at this. This is a butterfly knife. My God. This makes me really angry. It makes me really angry knowing that our kids can be out there buying this and we think they're safe. This is the tip of the iceberg. Thin package. This is a credit card knife. I'm not gonna lie, I feel a bit sick right about now because I've just taken out a knife that looks like a credit card that could be in someone's wallet on any night out. It is a madness. This looks like it could be your Common Garden Stanley knife. Oh, it's oily. Wow. You can see it's really serrated and they're groups of 3 teeth. These can be bought and be available on our streets. I'm actually quite speechless. I'm not often speechless, but words fail me at the moment. These knives are all designed with one purpose: to kill. And as we know from the endless headlines, so many of those killed by knives are teenagers, kids. As a mother, as a human being, the idea of a knife being turned against a child makes me sick. I need to understand what losing a child to violence feels like and what it does to a family. I'm on the way to Leicester to meet Amy Morgan. She's a mum who so sadly lost her son Tyler in 2015 after he was stabbed in the chest. She has turned her pain into power and has become a tireless campaigner against knife crime. Amy has joined other bereaved mothers in protest, taking action to try and stop more young people losing their lives to knife crime. We met at the spot where Tyler was killed.
You know what happened down there that night?
And then I guess in a way, I suppose your brain and your emotions are just trying to process everything, and I guess coming here kind of is part of that process, I guess.
To think that it's where he had his last moments, yeah. And then we had his plaque done in memory.
Yeah. You see, in loving memory of Tyler Thompson, your beautiful soul and your vibrant smile, taken too soon, gone but not forgotten. Rest in peace, Tyler. 10th of April 1999 to 24th of the 11th, 2015.
People forget, people don't care, people move on. People don't want to, they don't want to remember it all the time, but to us it's something special.
Amy invited me into her family home. She told me about what happened the day her son died. Tyler was stabbed twice, in the arm and fatally in the chest.
The doctor at the hospital said that where he'd been stabbed at the bottom of his heart, and that's why I couldn't do anything. And then I later found out he'd like a case of either he drowned in his own blood or cardiac arrest, but it would have been really quick. But just like, I think to myself, like, you know, what were his last thoughts? Did he know? You know, did he think, did he, you know, did he want me there? Like, you know, it traumatises you like that way.
And what about the person that did it? Like, what?
He'd already got caught carrying a knife, like about 14 months before he killed Tyler. And apparently had a caution and went on a knife awareness course.
Right.
On that evening, there was like a confrontation, and Tyler and this individual had a fight, and the fight had finished, and Tyler got on his bike to leave, and then he went up to him and stabbed him. Oh. He got sentenced to 11 years. He got a year off for being on remand. He got a year off for not putting his through a trial, and he'll serve half of that. I got in touch with the General Attorney to try and get him to look at the sentence again. They said that Tyler was responsible for his own death because basically they'd had a fight before the incident, which is a bit of more than a kick in the teeth. How can you be responsible for your own death? You know, he weren't the one that was carrying the knife. You know, it's like all his 16 years of life meant nothing to the justice system.
I know it's hard. Doing really well.
It is, because he don't get any easier at all.
I know.
And you have to try and be strong like every single day. And, you know, you're just breaking inside because it does kill you inside. This is the one that was 8 weeks old at the time. So he'll never get to know him, you know, that hurts.
Though Tyler may no longer be with us, his memory is more than alive and the pain of his death more than real. Before I left, Amy showed me Tyler's memorial video.
Okay, shall I go over again?
Yeah.
Okay, but super hot fire in the building.
It's hard, isn't it?
It's a beautiful young man. I'm so sorry.
You need to do something because it's just relentless, isn't it?
Yeah. What could drive someone to carry a knife, let alone turn it against someone? I'm at Carney's Community, a boxing club that helps give at-risk young people direction and mentoring. I'm meeting two young men who can't be identified, who both carried knives. I want to understand why they did it and what the consequences were for doing so. Can you tell me a little bit about your time in the criminal justice system?
I got convicted for stabbing someone else. I got convicted of GBH and the possession of offensive weapon. A lot of people around me were carrying knives. I've even got into fights and arguments with my own friends, and my own friends had pulled out knives on me. And I don't know what happened, but at one point it's like pride for me. And it's like a lot of other people became more important with anything else. No one wants to lose.
And what made you feel, first of all, that you needed to carry a knife?
At that age, even just going from where I was over one town, there's people that if I said, well, I'm from Junction, you never know what's going to happen. Knowing that however many other people carry knives, I felt like I needed one to protect myself. What kept on seeming to happen, I'm getting into fights and people are pulling out weapons.
Yeah. Have you been stabbed?
Yeah. Funny enough, it was by someone I know.
What happened then?
Made me a bit more wary. And I did actually start carrying a knife more after that.
I got permanently excluded for bringing in a knife to school. I was being approached by other groups of young people, and then when I told the school, they didn't do anything about it. I wouldn't do anything with it, but I just thought like it might scare them, and then they would leave me alone. When you have it, you feel like, in a way, invincible, like nothing can happen against you. And it just, gave me a sense of power in a way.
Do you think you'd ever carry a knife again?
No, I haven't since, and I don't think I would again.
In London, City Hall has come under fire for not doing enough to tackle the capital's growing knife crime problem. Sophie Linden is Deputy Mayor for Policing and Crime. I challenged her to explain what was going on.
There's lots of complex reasons for it's happening, but one of the really big issues for me is the 9 years of cuts to the services that help young people and families, the sort of glue to society that keeps people together. Youth clubs have been shut down, schools have had millions of pounds taken out of them. So anybody that needs any little bit of help finds it incredibly difficult to find it and to get it. And the youth clubs shutting down and those programmes means that there's not things for young people to do. And then, of course, we've also had an increase in drug dealing, and there is a real link between drugs and violence. So it's really complex.
So there are people that are critical of the Mayor of London, saying he's not done enough?
It's not just in London that violence has been rising. In the Home Office research, and you can see that it's across the country that we've got violence rising, and it started in 2014, which is long before the Mayor became, became Mayor of London. He's put millions of extra money into the police to really get on top and suppress the violence, and he's putting 45 million into the Young Londoners Fund.
What can be done to really tackle the issue?
Putting extra money into the police so that they can catch those that are perpetrating the violence, but really, really importantly, we're putting more extra money into community organisations, into voluntary organisations, youth clubs, so that they can work with young people.
By the end of 2019, hundreds of people will have lost their lives to a knife in Britain. Together in 2020, we can put an end to it, but it's not going to be down to the government and police alone. Communities, activists, victims, family, friends and ordinary people need to stand together to say no more. For every Tyler, for every Shayon, for every life needlessly lost to a knife.